Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Growth Philosophy Podcast, a bite-sized weekly podcast which aims to help you think better and upgrade your life. And I'm your host, Salik. In the last episode, I talked about 5 essential things you need to know about the growth mindset. I realized that I needed to explore this topic further, so in today's podcast, I will continue on that thread and I'll be talking about the differences between the growth mindset and the fixed mindset. So when you think about mindset, there are basically 2 types, the growth mindset and the fixed mindset. So let's explore the difference between those 2 today. So let's talk about the first and possibly the most important difference between the 2 types of mindset. Someone with a growth mindset believes that their ability and their talents are not fixed. So here is what I'm talking about. When someone has a fixed mindset, they have a completely opposite belief. They believe that either they're born with a talent or they don't have it. So you must have heard about that school of thought where you have heard how if you're not born with it, you don't have it. But that is not the belief of someone who has a growth mindset. Because actually, ultimately, when you really think about it, you will realize that your capabilities are only defined and determined by your own ability to do what you need to do. So, of course, talent plays a role. Some people will have a natural inclination towards something, but that does not mean if you wanted to get better at a certain skill, you cannot do it. Practice does make better. But if you have a fixed mindset, or rather those who have a fixed mindset will believe that it just doesn't matter what you try, because you either have that talent or you don't, and that can be seriously restrictive. But more on that on another day. So that's the main and the first difference between a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. Those in the fixed mindset school think that you either have it or you don't, but those with a growth mindset do not believe that. Now, for the second difference, it sort of follows on from the first point. Room for improvement. So, those with a fixed mindset don't really believe that there is any room for improvement in any area. Because if you believe that you either have it or you don't, well, it doesn't really matter. Like, if you don't have it, then how can there be any room for improvement? Because you either have it or you don't. Whereas those with a growth mindset always believe that there is a room for improvement. So when you believe that you can indeed do something better, you will work towards doing it better. Whereas if you don't believe that you can do something better, you just won't put in the effort. So that's another crucial difference between the growth mindset and the fixed mindset. The third difference, is one about challenges and how people with those 2 different mindsets deal with challenges differently. Those with a fixed mindset, when they're faced with challenges, they'll easily give up. Because for them, it'll be a matter of what's the point? Like, if you're facing challenges, then very likely you just cannot continue further. Because if you don't have it, if there is no room for improvement, then clearly you can't do anything about it. So you might as well give up. That's the belief of those with a fixed mindset. Whereas those with a growth mindset will believe that you can do something about it, and that challenges are just part and parcel of the journey. So those with a growth mindset will keep on going, will find a way, and will not let challenges stop them. And then that brings me on to the fifth difference about dealing with flaws. We all have flaws. Let's just face it, it's part of being human. So no one is perfect, right? But how do you deal with your flaws? Now that's a crucial factor that differentiates those with a growth mindset and those with a fixed one. Those with a fixed mindset will try to hide their flaws. They don't want to seem stupid or weak or something or the other, and they will try their best to hide their flaws. Whereas those with a growth mindset won't actually spend any time or effort in hiding them. What they will do is work on their flaws because they believe that they can improve and they can get better. So they can't actually get better unless they acknowledge their flaws and their weaknesses. So flaws and weaknesses are not really something to hide away from or run away from. They're just opportunities to grow and improve. That's the belief of those with growth mindsets. And that's another clear and very important distinction between those with a growth mindset and those with a fixed one. So that was the fourth one. Now for the fifth point is about how people with those two different mindsets deal with the unknown. People with a fixed mindset will usually stick with what they know. Dealing with the unknown is not really something they want to deal with or even take on. They are quite happy in their comfort zones. It makes them secure, it makes them feel comfortable, it makes them feel strong and confident. So it's easy. It scares them to think about pushing their boundaries and pushing their comfort zones. So those with a fixed mindset, they will not really push their comfort zones. They'll stay within their comfort zones and not deal with the unknown. But it's diametrically different for those with a growth mindset who will actually push their comfort zones. The unknown is just something else to explore and learn more about because that's how you learn. And that is a clear and very important aspect of the growth mindset. The sixth difference is that about dealing with opportunities. And here is the thing. Opportunities exist or don't depending largely on the way you perceive things. So those with a fixed mindset basically don't really think about opportunities existing in every situation or every circumstance. So for instance, dealing with challenges, like I talked before. So for those with a growth mindset, they will believe that there are opportunities even in challenges or challenging situations. But those with a fixed mindset will believe that there is no opportunity in a challenge, that it's just a challenge, plain and simple, that is a bad thing, and it is something to run away from. So whether you look for opportunities in a situation or not will largely depend on whether you have a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. Those with a fixed mindset will basically not see any opportunities because they don't want to, whereas those with a growth mindset will look for opportunities even if there isn't one easily visible. Now comes the seventh difference. It's about putting in effort. Now, those with a growth mindset, they will put in effort. They will work hard because they believe that things don't come easy, and you only basically get out of something what you put in it, right? You sow as you reap. So if you don't put any work in something, you will not get anything out of it. And that's one of the key beliefs of people with a growth mindset. Whereas those with a fixed mindset basically go off the belief that you either have it or you don't. So usually they won't really put much effort into something, because for them it's again down to what's the point? Whereas those with a growth mindset believe that there is a point, and that unless you put in the work, you won't really get anything out of it. So clearly this actually brings me on to the next difference, which is about all or nothing. Like, there is this attitude of all or nothing for people with a fixed mindset. So they have an outcome in mind. If they don't achieve it, they believe it's all been a waste. There is absolutely no point. You have not achieved something, so you are a complete and abject failure. It was just a complete waste of time and energy. Whereas those with a growth mindset, they don't believe in such absolute notions. They know and realize that it is a journey, that what you learn in the course of reaching your objectives or your goals are just as important, if not more important sometimes, than actually reaching your objective or your goal. So even if that achievement or goal isn't actually reached, it's still okay sometimes. Oftentimes it actually leads you to something better. But you can't get to that better path, you can't achieve that better thing unless you're open to it. And when you have an all or nothing mentality, that becomes hard to do. So people with a fixed mindset will believe you either achieve it or you don't, whereas people with a growth mindset will believe it's just part and parcel of reaching your objective. And reaching your objective isn't the end of the world. Even if it doesn't happen, something good very likely will come out of it. And that then makes you more keen on going on with things. And that helps you to see other things clearly and achieve more. And achievements, okay, well actually that one I'll come back. Actually no, I'll talk about it right now. So that's another key difference between those who have a fixed mindset and those who don't. Those who have a growth mindset will achieve more as a result of continuing on their path and having a better perspective. Because of how and what they believe, they keep going. They will put in more effort. They believe they can get better, and then that all culminates into them achieving more. Guess what happens for those who have a fixed mindset? They will just not achieve as much as those with a growth mindset. It's really simple math. But think about that. And now for the last difference I want to talk about today. For those with a growth mindset and those with a fixed mindset. It's about how they deal with failure. Failure, it's a difficult topic, right? No one really wants to experience failures. But the key difference for those who have a growth mindset and those who have a fixed mindset, this is a very, very crucial difference, is how they differ in their dealing of failures. Those with a growth mindset will carry on. They will not let their failures stop them. They will not let their failures define them. They will use the failures as feedbacks. Because at the end of the day, failures are just lessons and important, useful insights and information that then helps you to do things better. Because unless you fail at something, you don't really know what you're doing wrong. So when you look at failures in that way, as a useful source of lesson and insight, you can do things better next time. It's about learning from your failures and failing forward. But those with a fixed mindset will let their failures define them. So that's why you will hear things like, I'm a failure. Like, what a stupid concept. But that is a crucial, very, very crucial identifier of someone who has a fixed mindset. Because no one with a growth mindset will ever say something like, I'm a failure. No one is a failure. Your failures don't define you, they're just challenges. But if you have a fixed mindset, or rather those who have a fixed mindset will believe that their failures define them. So those are some of the crucial and key distinctions between those who have a fixed mindset and those who have a growth mindset. That should hopefully give you some insights into the type of mindset you have. And having a fixed mindset is actually one of the most harmful things for your own life and your future. But here is the good thing. Our mindset is not set in stone. It is something that we can work on and change. It is malleable. And it is something that you can improve. So only because someone has a growth mindset does not mean they can't actually develop a fixed mindset or vice versa. Although it's actually unlikely that you will develop a fixed mindset if you already have a growth mindset, because you know the distinctions and the key aspects of what things, or rather how things work when you have a growth mindset. But if you have a fixed mindset, you can adopt and develop your mindset to that of adopting a growth mindset. And if you want to learn more about growth mindsets, check out Carol Dweck's book, Mindset. That's actually what it's called. It's called Mindset. But she has done quite a bit of research on growth mindset and how it impacts us and impacts our ability to do things and get things done. So check that book out. But as it stands, that's it for today. And I will talk to you again next week. So subscribe to the podcast to get notified of all future episodes. And I hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a great week.